This is the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 170, which is kind of a bland name for an incredibly not bland car. This is the most powerful Challenger ever, the ultimate modern muscle car with over 1,000 horsepower and a price tag of over $100,000. Today, I'm going to review the Demon 170 and show you all of its quirks and features. Today's video is brought to you by Cars and Bids, my online enthusiast car auction site that recently sold this, and this, and this, and this, and this. All right, time for the quirks and features of the Demon 170, which has very many quirks and features, but we start with an overview. Like I said, this is the ultimate Dodge Challenger. The Hellcat had 717 horsepower, which was insane. The last Demon had 808 horsepower, which was even crazier. Now this has over 1,000 horsepower, up to 1,025 horsepower in optimal conditions, which is absolutely crazy, and it really makes this the ultimate modern muscle car. Well, of course, the Demon 170 is also special because it's rare. Dodge says they're only making 3,300 Demon 170s with a starting sticker price of $96,666 for the mark of the devil. No, seriously, that's why they did it. And there's a lot of weird quirks like that throughout the car that I will show you. But you add the gas guzzler tax and destination charge, and it puts the base price of this car right around $100,000 for a Dodge Challenger. Now that's big money, but this is a very special car. And not only is it the ultimate modern muscle car and the ultimate Challenger, but it's the very last Challenger as well. Dodge is doing a series of last call models for the Challenger to close out production of this iconic car, which has basically been sold since 2008 in roughly the same shape and design. But now it's all coming to an end. In fact, it's already ended, and the very last Challenger built on December 22 of 2023 was a Demon 170 just like this, the very end of the Challenger line. So let's talk quirks, and there are very many, starting with how to tell apart the Demon 170 from the previous Demon, which was sold in 2018, also in very small numbers. One way is the rear fender, which is slightly larger in the Demon 170, but that's pretty hard to tell unless you have the two next to each other. An easier way is you look at the Demon badge on the front fender and you can see this Demon has a little 170 logo at the bottom, sort of on his neck, and his eye is yellow. Yellow is kind of a theme color for this car because it symbolizes the corn-based E85 ethanol fuel that is required in order to make the maximum 1,025 horsepower. In the Demon 170, you only get that power figure if you're running E85 ethanol fuel. If you run regular pump gas, you only make 900 horsepower. Still a massive figure, but to maximize, you gotta go with the corn-based fuel, and thus the little yellow eye on the Demon and the yellow graphic on the brake caliper, as you can see, also different from the previous Demon, and once again yellow in order to symbolize that corn-based fuel. In fact, the 170 name from the Demon 170 refers to the alcohol proof of the ethanol fuel that is required to generate all that power. It is a very obscure name, and in my opinion, it's way too subtle. Only 170 for a car with this much power and craziness, but that's where the name comes from. Kind of a weird one, but if you were wondering. And we see that ethanol, alcohol-proof theme continued in other sort of hidden places throughout the car. For instance, the front air scoop, as you can see, look closely and it says alcohol injected. You kind of got to look for it, but it's there reminding you. And check out the key. The Demon logo has most of the word demon in yellow. Only the M in the center is red. That's supposed to symbolize the pitchfork of the demon, but the rest is yellow to symbolize the corn fuel. And by the way, you'll notice this is the red key. Previous Challenger high-performance models have had a black key for daily normal driving, and then a red key to unlock all the power. Well, the 170 only has the red key. This car, you get all the power with all the keys. But anyway, since I keep mentioning the engine and the power, let's get under the hood and check out the Quirks. This is a 6.2 liter supercharged V8, just like in other high-performance versions of the Dodge Challenger. But this engine has been greatly revised with all sorts of upgrades and improvements in order to put out the maximum 1,025 horsepower figure. And by the way, it's worth pointing out that when it's running on ethanol fuel and the optimal tune and making that much power, Dodge says this car will go 0 to 60 in under 1.7 seconds with a quarter-mile time of 8.9 seconds. An unbelievably fast car, and it really is set up and fully designed for drag racing, high-speed acceleration runs. In fact, Dodge says those numbers are only achievable on a prepped surface like you would find at a lot of drag strips. You can't just get out on the road in this car and do 0 to 60 in 1.7, but it is theoretically achievable with the right surface. An ultimate drag racer car. Those are unbelievable figures. But anyway, since we're under the hood, let's talk quirks under here, starting with the Demon logo on this plaque front and center. It even says 170 in the corner to distinguish it from other lesser Demons. You also have a little plaque in the corner of the engine bay that notes this is a last call version of the Challenger. Like I said, they're making a bunch of last call special editions, and this is the last call. The other interesting item worth noting in the engine bay, if you look way down in there, you can see the engine block painted yellow. That again is to symbolize the connection with the E85 corn-based ethanol fuel. You got to really get down there and look for it, but it's there. Just one more little yellow Easter egg like the other ones I've already shown you. Now, as for other interesting quirks on the outside, it's actually hard to tell that you're looking at a Demon 170, the ultimate Challenger, when you see this car. Aside from the little yellow eye in the Demon badge, the yellow on the brake calipers, and the wider fenders that are hard to tell apart, there aren't really any clues that that's what this car is. Although this particular Demon gives a little bit of a clue because of its crazy color that is literally called Plum Crazy. It's an optional color on this car, and in fact, this car has every option, every single option you could get in the Demon 170, including some rather crazy ones, like for instance the sunroof, which costs $10,000 extra. I have no idea why it costs so much more, but it did, and this car has it. This car was also ordered and equipped with carbon fiber wheels, which cost $11,500 extra, but they save weight over regular aluminum wheels for your optimal drag strip runs. Now, the carbon wheels are not currently on the car because the owner is afraid to drive it with these tremendously valuable wheels, which makes sense, but you can see them here, and they can be fitted back on the car for drag strip racing. Now, you add up those options and all of the other options that this car has, and you get to a window sticker price of around $145,000 for a fully equipped Demon 170 like this one. $145 grand for a Dodge Challenger, but for the ultimate Challenger. And next, you climb inside and quickly discover that this car is also equipped with probably the most unusual Demon 170 option: seats. You see, this is intended to be an all-out drag racer, and when you're drag racing, you don't really need seats other than the driver's. And so that's the only one that comes standard in this car. You have to pay extra to get a passenger seat and back seats as well. And this particular Challenger has that option. It's about $2,000 extra for the other seats. And from there, you can go full interior or delete the rear seats and just have the two fronts. As you can see, this car has them all. Now, beyond the interesting potential seating configuration in here, the interior of the Demon 170 is largely similar to other SRT Challenger models, although there are a few hidden Easter eggs that distinguish the 170. Like, for instance, the Demon printed onto the seats, you can see has a little 170 logo on his neck, just like the Demon logo on the outside of the car. Also, in the gauge cluster, you have this little icon that shows what level of ethanol you're currently running. Apparently, it can update in real time to let you know if you're maximizing your ethanol capabilities for your optimized high-performance driving. Another Demon 170 change compared to other Challenger models, there's a separate graphic in the infotainment system that shows the Demon logo with the yellow eye, which, like I mentioned, is distinctive to the 170. And speaking of the infotainment system in this car, it's true in other SRT models, but there's an unbelievable amount of high-performance stuff you can do in the infotainment system. Press the SRT button right here, and it pulls up the SRT section of the screen, and wow, you can adjust the RPMs that you want the car to launch on launch control for the optimal drag racing start depending on your particular setup. You can turn on a line lock function, which will lock the front brakes on but let the rear wheels spin freely, which allows you to do burnouts. That's pretty cool, but it's also a special feature for the drag strip. It lets you warm up those rear tires and get them ready to race. You also have a drag mode in this car, which will optimize all of the settings for a perfect drag racing run. And there's even a chiller feature, which will cool down the engine after you run, so you don't have to put like a bag of ice around the engine like a lot of drag racers do. The car will do it automatically. In fact, all of this stuff is really impressive. These are features that people modify their cars to have for optimal drag racing performance. This comes with it all from the factory in a factory-built car that's street legal. It's totally insane to see all of this stuff in here. But anyway, one other Demon 170 change for the interior. Over on the passenger side of the dashboard, the climate vent, you can see the Demon logo. Again, most of it is yellow except for that red M in the middle. And then 0068 is printed. That's an individual number for this car, which has the VIN ending in 0068. So that's essentially a production number personalized to each car. And you can do more personalization than just that. Here in the trunk, I have another passenger side climate vent, much like the one I just showed you, but this one has a specific personalized message distinctive for this car. It says built for, and then you can have it say your name or whatever you want. The owner of this car doesn't want to reveal his built for, but you can put that on a plaque and an extra climate vent if you want to install it in your car for more personalization. In fact, this car comes with an enormous amount of accessories beyond just the car. There's a lot of other stuff that you get with your Demon 170. For instance, this car had a partnership with Jay Leno's Garage to deliver special detailing supplies with each car. And indeed, this is the box of those detailing supplies, which includes detail spray, whose label specifically shows the Demon 170 graphic, distinctive from other generic Jay Leno's Garage detailing supplies. That is a pretty cool touch. Another accessory in this car, kind of a strange one that comes with it, is this. You can see a metal part and then a carbon fiber piece on top. That is a little trunk tray for extra storage. You put the metal piece here and you can secure it, and then the carbon fiber bit goes on top and you can put stuff in there on the side of your trunk. Why didn't they just include that from production? Who knows? But it's an accessory just for Demon 170 owners. However, the absolute most ridiculous, most insane accessory that comes with this car, and maybe the craziest accessory I've ever seen, is this box, which looks like a crate. It has wood on the outside, almost looks like a fence or a shipping pallet, and you can see the very center is the Demon logo, this big plaque with the Demon graphic and 170 printed on it. Below that you have the car and the VIN, and then you open it up. On the inside of the lid you have a Demon graphic showing the car and also signatures of all of the people who are part of the Demon 170 team at Dodge. This crate also comes with 2 letters. One just gives the name of all the Demon 170 team members, presumably matching the name of the people who signed it above, and then you have this letter, which thanks you for buying such a special car. In fact, this letter specifically says, "A vehicle of this caliber is undoubtedly here to kick ass," which isn't the kind of corporate communications you usually see from businesses, but I guess it goes with the Demon 170, and this is kind of a cool touch. But undoubtedly, the craziest part about this whole thing is what's inside the box. So, you take up the foam on the right side and you have 2 carafes, both for alcohol. The most impressive is this one on the bottom that has a Demon actually printed into the glass, like embossed into the glass with the logo of this car. And on the other side it shows your VIN, a distinctive bottle just for the Demon. And you also have a smaller bottle included in this part of the box as well that you can take out and use. Now, in the bottom area, you pull up the foam and it reveals drinking glasses. And printed at the base of the drinking glasses is the Demon 170 logo again. Very special and very interesting. Now, in this center section, you lift this up and there are, well, little silver demons that I'm sure have some sort of purpose. I can't really figure it out, but they're there and they're kind of cool. And on the left side, you open it up and you have Demon drink coasters for you to set your drinks on it, since this is a decanter set intended to go with the car. In the top compartment, you pick up the foam and you have a little plaque that once again commemorates the Demon 170 and shows your specific VIN for your car. Overall, this box is a very interesting accessory and a highly personalized one, both for the Demon 170 and each specific car, and it's certainly one of the most unusual accessories to go along with a vehicle that I've ever seen. And finally, since I'm back here, we should take a listen to a few revs from the Demon 170's monstrous V8 before I get behind the wheel and take it out on the road. All right, driving the Demon 170, and I'm here with the owner of the Demon 170, Carl Brower, who is famous in my world because he sold me my Ford GT many, many years ago.
Yes, we've had quite the history here. Once upon a time, we were both employed on some level by the big giant Cox conglomerate that did Auto Trader Kelley Blue Book. But...
And now Carl is reviewing cars on his own YouTube channel. He's going to be doing a lot of stuff about the experience of owning this car, but also reviewing other new cars and all sorts of...
Yeah, I'm putting up a couple videos a week. Had the Bugatti Chiron recently, but this has already got 3 ownership videos up, and they'll just keep coming because this car's got a lot to say.
So check it out in the description below. I'll put a link. And now we drive. What do you think of this thing? You've got just under 1,000 miles on it so far.
So a lot of people ask, 2018, which I had before.
Yeah. Which I reviewed of yours all those years ago. Are you running the 85 in it right now?
Yeah.
So that shows, that's like a real-time thing that shows, okay.
So the single coolest thing about this car, in my mind, is that whatever you put into it, it figures out. I feel like it's like, this is like your post-apocalyptic car. Oh, I got kerosene, I'm gonna dump it in. But it's like whatever you put in the car,
it makes
the computer goes, okay, I'll make that work.
Yeah, because it's 1,025 if you max out E85, but it's 900 on pump gas. But if there's a mixture, is it somewhere?
It could be 975, it could be 920.
Interesting.
And when you put in E85, like let's say you've got a quarter of a tank of regular gas, and then you put in E85, the first like 5-10 minutes out, you watch it, and it's like,
and it's changing.
Yeah, you can see the real-time horsepower rate out here, and you can watch it climb.
On the drag strip, their speed's going to be determined by how much E85. Did the owner drain the fuel tank and put E85 before he went to the strip?
Exactly.
All right, I haven't floored it yet. I did all the video beforehand, but I drove it very cautiously so I could do it first with you. So I'm going to do that. Are you ready? I'm going to roll on. I've had some experience.
It's not whether I'm ready, it's whether you're ready.
All right, here we go. Oh my God. Oh.
So now remember that it doesn't even have the drag radials on it now. It's got these.
So what do you do? I mean, I was maybe 2/3 throttle and the back end starts to come out, and I was probably goosed it at 40.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
You don't floor it, and you keep traction control on at all times.
When I said I was going to floor it, you knew what was going to happen.
Oh yeah. Okay. If you give it more than a third to and anywhere near half throttle, and the back end's going to light up below like 50 miles an hour, and if you floor it below like 70 miles an hour, it's going to light up again.
The responsiveness of the throttle is excellent. You do get a little bit of delay because of the trans downshifting, but I bet if I did manual and did it myself, there's not really, oh God, I'm like terrified now. I had an incident in a Hellcat a long time ago.
Shit.
I mean, it's so fast. The thing is, it doesn't really matter if you floor it or not, because even with a quarter throttle, you're fast, you're doing incredible. I mean, 40 to 60 or 60 to 100 runs are just incredibly fast. And so it doesn't really matter if you can't really actually access all 1,000 horsepower except under optimal conditions. This car has V8 torque, and ridiculous V8 torque.
Ridiculous V8 torque.
And so not only is it the instant throttle response of a V8, but it's this crazy V8 with 1,000 horsepower and it's supercharged.
Whatever speed you're going, whatever the engine RPM's at, you roll into it, bang.
Yeah, you know, it honestly doesn't feel dissimilar from an electric car, where just instant torque. Like this is the level I guess you have to do in order to equalize the electric car.
Yeah.
But it feels like that. Like I floor it, and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah. There's no waiting.
Oh, I wish I could floor it, but I'm afraid to, and I'm going twice the speed limit. No, I'm going exactly the speed limit.
Always the exact speed limit.
And so I think it's best. I can't believe that. It's very rare that I get into a car that is just so, I just don't trust myself enough. And yeah, you're right, without the drag radials, I mean, even with them, I don't know the hell I'm doing.
It's ridiculous with the drag radials. It's ridiculous plus without them.
I mean, this really is like the fastest car on the road. Even I mean, compared to like a Plaid, you'd probably be tight on the road. It'd be hard to get the power down.
It's the surface. Really, the prep surface is necessary for this car. So, but you can use launch control, and you're going to get a pretty decent time.
Still, it's crazy how quick it is to. I mean, we probably have traction control on. I'm in just street regular mode, but it's crazy how easy it is just now to get the wheels starting to go. It is interesting. It is a surprisingly like nice and livable car otherwise, which is one of the cool benefits I think that the Challenger platform has always provided. Like you have a good infotainment that's like touchscreen and easy.
Connect is one of my favorite interfaces out there, very intuitive and easy to use.
Dual zone climate and all this stuff, and man, this thing is just so fast, and it is amazing. I'm in 6th, which is a pretty deep gear, and I just step on the throttle, and it feels like I'm in 3rd in any other. I mean, there's just so much instant available power. It's wild. Try one last time here. We got a pretty straight stretch. Oh my God! Holy crap! This is wild! I know. You got right up to the speed limit there. Almost over it.
You almost had exceeded the speed limit there, Doug.
Wow, this thing is so crazy. What a cool car.
And I'm so glad I finally got this is it for me. Like, I don't know if I can ever get rid of this car. It's the ultimate muscle car.
I think it is. That's what I said. The ultimate, modern muscle car, the ultimate Challenger.
And it's in Plum Crazy, my favorite color with the red interior. Like, this is it, man. I am done.
And so that's the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 170. This really is an amazing vehicle, and it's a fantastic send-off to the beloved Dodge Challenger. And now it's time to give the Demon 170 a DougScore. And the DougScore is here, 66 out of 100, which places the Demon 170 here against some similar cars. This is the coolest SRT car around, with massive power and massive acceleration, and it beats out all prior Charger and Challenger models. Personally, I had so much fun in the Demon 170 that I'm reminded how much I'm going to miss this platform. But the dinosaurs must go extinct, apparently. At least they've sent it out with a real bang.